가수다 지 텐줄 얘가 쓰면 다 간다 밀류디 간다 류제 매 류젠텔 되네 된신 것이 좋아해요. 다 이내야 다른 가족이 되게 가수에 randu kukju sanan randu iji samba kone xianwando songpa sana di wando tangshabi inyu sana nga zuegi kandar kashuwa ji nyubadi nga zu rangshiga nyubad chenpo yubine nyubadi kashuwa taji kuyu di somewhere 야춘주를 미차지 가다가 좀 뮤지스가래 안에 장도연 이제 somewhere 디기베 정하로 디나로래야 쭉샤브체 엔티치로래야 맞저기 딱 한다라 니번 되미도 버스란 장도 간다라 드리차리야래 제상 맞저기 에너지 잡아든 인지 다 에너지闲了 特别上吧，但真正上不是给不起去。真这个团呢，大家的，我说的先编给女不三两张东，岁让给女不加减动画的开始不吹下。
So, what we call precious human life. Or in another way, that our life can accomplish a very great benefit, great meaning in this life. But because there is a possibility that we can accomplish a great deal and a great kind of benefit in this life, because our way of thinking is too much kind of self-centered. And because we are under the power of the self-centeredness, it's a little bit like a prison. So therefore, we cannot bring out the innate power that we have. And so therefore, in order to bring us out of that imprisonment or a prison of our self-centeredness, we need to develop our loving kindness and compassion, and then through that, our natural qualities or our natural power of benefiting lots of beings in a great way and making our life extremely meaningful and powerful can be developed. And in order to do that, we need to develop those qualities in us.
That in this part of the world, somewhere that's Europe, New York, Australia, as that the Druti, that way castle of the day, the personal rights, somewhere that's Migergi, top down. Rangwanda Antana Singi Taji Susugi, the Gergi, that interview, the Handa Keven Sungub Shadi, Keshim City. The Yivinia Dianji Tetang Azutadi, Randu Iji Sadi, Manjev Chewadi, Diagita, Nyanga, Paji. 용대 얘기를 좀 전에 드린 뉴스한다 진짜 가서 randu 이제다 양지 소수 개개 장wan다 개변다 다나 신기 톱당 숨깁자 사디 만으로 시작하디 계속 시작해서
In these places in the West, there are lots of kind of efforts or to protect the personal rights personal freedom, to kind of protect our own rights and things like that. And this is something we need to understand, that this is not mixed up. This is not same as self-interest only and selfishness. Because there is a possibility of misunderstanding, and that our understanding of freedom and to protect our personal rights can be understood or misunderstood as selfishness or self-centeredness. This we have to be very clear. Of course, there is a danger that it can be together also. So I think it is very important that we need to understand this in a separate way, very clearly, how to distinguish what is self-centeredness and what is the protection of freedom and rights of the individuals.
Self said, context how to understand the self somewhere with the G. That engage much something.
I think it's very important to understand what is self.
Okay. That the Nazuki Namju, we need to talk, we need to dang, Nazu Nangsu, Tini Barulia, have a chumstyle. Bena, no Nazuki, be Kashu, we need to the Nazu Nangsu, and she ordered some tender already. Inang, turned them layer, we need to dang as Nangsu, Kawai on the
There is lots of kind of difference, the way things really are and the way we experience that, or it appears to us. Sometimes we think that what appears to us and what we experience is same as how the things really are, but they are not. Sometimes there are lots of differences between them.
아주 망부지기 남균 지 나단 다사데 데지 랑와와르 떼바메바 시나 떼바메바 지 랑와와 간다르지 진지지 전화요네.
Many of us see that I or the self is something very independent, not dependent on anything, or not interdependent or dependently arising, but something independent.
when you tola 아주 samtangwaade benanga 주기 ben köbe tulloynare benanga 주지 촛업 benna so ben다 nga 주기 다 간다 그 수부섬을 고 레바네 젠다 까먹어도 상마 대야 샬라라니 샬라데네 충분히 다나신 아주기다 사회세 견배그 되게 상으로 샬라라네 되지 단团랑 아주 우기교와 순제야 샬라라니 되지 이번 뜻이 없이라.
But in real fact, everything is dependent, like our clothes, our livelihood, even our body, from our brain to our feet. There's nothing which is not dependent on lots of things and on many things. Our food, our clothes, even the breath that we are breathing is also dependent on many other things. There's nothing that is totally independent.
이내야 되게 나주지 self summer 되지 나사 다다 나주지 간다 나주리야 나사 매 미쳐봐 말이지 요초가 그래서 요초가 어디 이내야 돼 아주 개침부지 삼동과다 되지 뭐 니주 돌이야 아주平时 지도를 지금 인도산에 지도에 마사지 마도베平时 때문에 때문에 다나지 라와와 축도바 나든지 지기 마지 요래 삼버지 나든지 삼동한데 아주 좋아던 거지.
Of course, there is a self, there's a feeling of the self, but everything.
Okay, no problem.
But everything there is dependent on many things and is a dependently arising thing. But we feel that it's not something dependent or dependently arising, but something totally independent, totally it's on its own, single one. So that's what, standing kind of single and unrelated to everything else, that kind of a self we feel or we perceive, that is not like that in actual fact.
네 뉴스단에 nga meba mahimba nga yebeche ina di nga de yulu ye da no di kandar pinzu jigle jide dinjung duju tinde ji nga shebe indusane di gyunsen de ne nga su pinzu jigle nyawa ra lübechi da an da na shi di ka shu da dende tele dene nga su gingur gu chowa sa de dende yong gu som chung ye jezang interdependent somewhere that the view into the philosophy into my way of that the way of life that the kind of value the liberty emergency so yeah.
And it's not that there is nothing called me or experience of me or I is not there. Of course it's there. But it's not about whether you have an experience or feeling of an I, but how it is there. How is the I? It is something, it's relatively there and dependently there. It's all interdependent. So when we understand this, there's nothing single and nothing totally independent and unrelated to everything else. Then we feel, we understand that we are related to everything and we are interdependent with lots of things. So therefore, a sense of responsibility arises. And therefore, to develop that, to understand that, becomes very important. When you say interdependent, it's not just a philosophy of interdependent. It's not about just a philosophy of saying that this is interdependent, but we need to develop a way of life which is interdependent. The way we live our life should be in this experience of understanding that things are interdependent and relative and dependent.
And that's why I think it's nothing wrong about because we think there existing of self or I, but which kind of I is one of them is existing. So we think it's very independent, kind of single. That kind of, I think, I is in the reality is not existing. But sometimes we can make up reality now. It's not reality, but we think it's reality. That's why we should have this sort of very clear understanding of which kind of I or how, why is someone that can
how the I is.
yeah. And that the name you Bena Mazu da Kashu Bena G. Says that Tinjus and Dana. And Bena Mazu Kuru Mazu between Gen to some law, Janjung Kuru then show me in Dusane. Mazu telling Yawarale Binza, Tigus and Dana, Ranking Angi, Kuyu Sungucha, Kuyuda, Kuyulia, Jericha. Dindigi Kashudaji, Samuji, Ranking Angi Jungos, cutting out to let Dindigi Kashudaji, Dinjungi Manabi, Dindigi Kashu, Lucia Jevimna, Lucia Manor Jevimna, then you put something.
If I get this understanding of I that is interdependent or dependent on dependently arising I, then I need to understand that my existence is dependent on the environment around me. And therefore, for example, I would have a natural kind of concern about the environment that I am living in, because
natural environment.
Yeah, natural kind of environment. And so therefore, naturally concern and care for the environment that I'm living becomes clear or strong.
Oh, that name is done. Kandadi Gingur Samsad, Dirji, and the Dirvisha, and then the ne and Azu, the Mutine, and that Tenjurniakas, the Shubetone. And that's what Midabasadi, Qualia, and the Mudishuman.
So that's the main understanding of precious human life, that we understand that this life is precious and interdependent, and therefore we have these responsibilities and opportunities at this moment. So therefore we have responsibilities to people, all, everything around us and the world and people and things like that. So that's the kind of the essence of precious human life. And now we go on to the next topic, that is the impermanence.
Yeah, we call it death impermanent. Summary, death impermanent.
Death impermanent.
Chua death impermanent.
Impermanence of the life.
Death impermanent.
Death.
But today, I don't want to talk death. Maybe that the midabasadi. Nakandanga Zuji Mizinalolea, Kanda Chungdune, Salon Chumbania, Given Sunday, as with the Mizinalolea, you among which Chiare, Susu Ludine, you among which Chiare, Susugi, Energy Semtol and you among which Chiare, and Danaji Susugi, Tove Kuru, and the Zule and you among which Chiare.
And when you talk about the impermanence, if you look at our life from our childhood, so many changes have taken place. So much changes have taken place on our body. So many changes have taken place also in our mind. So the life has been a change. It has, so many things have changed in our life.
지자들이 유언라디 아주지 참조 제도 그렇지 스톱 그렇지 제도야 개혀 말은 스톱 간다라 딘지지 가도면 딘지지기 간단 유아지 저도
And these changes is not something that we can stop. We cannot-
다나신 아주기 강주는 유아다시 아버지 게 말해
And all these changes are not something that we wanted to change or we actually kind of made it to change.
It's naturally changing.
It naturally keeps on changing.
아들이 뉴스안에 아주 좀 믿어봤사디 된다래 가르쳤잖아. 교환 좋아. 가다 믿어봐. 교류의 전신지지 뭐지? 질이야 믿어봤어요.
What you mean by impermanence is that it's keep on changing. It never stays the same. That's what we call the impermanence.
다와는 믿어봐야 삼동과디. 교환 주의해봐. 고리야 삼동과의 경진데 가르쳤잖아.
And then why do we have to contemplate on that? Why do we have to think about this impermanence?
교환 주의해봐디. 지 마술이야지 lost 스마르다지 라반다지. 가서 야나지 가서다지 베나 어레데 교환 주의해봐데 라안저와 라와 야나지 가서다디 진짜 기자 많았어. 교환 중에 사디 나줄이야 고급 사업사는 장도. 야나 나줄이야 담가 사업지 되게 여기 딱전으로 차리.
This changing is not like we are losing something or we have lost something because the things change. We have to understand that the kind of constant change that is taking place is also a new opportunity for us. It's something that a new choice we have, a kind of a choice or opportunity that is presented to us. We have to see it like that also.
제가 믿어봐 보면 디기 진짜게 다간다. moment 다들 교환 중에 비치다. 고급디 다 moment 다 고급 쉬우지에 돼요. 가다 종담에 고급지에 돼요. 띵 아주 하고 하지다. 된저에 고급디 아주 배제네. 소소 당화하고 시야. 뒤체도 아주 믿어봐 공부하고.
So that's why when we meditate on impermanence, we start to realize, we have to understand that this momentary change, moment by moment, everything is impermanent, means that there is a moment by moment, there is a opportunity. There is countless and, kind of opportunities. There is great number of opportunities all the time, continuously. It is to understand this, to bring that experience and understanding in us that we contemplate or meditate on impermanence.
미망부지 소소 충중거리야 지배거리야 the bad memories 말을 파상에 받는지 샤네 디 파상에 받디 수수 미지 시불이야 파상에 받데 마당와 챤네 이 베셈 콩도 추네 베 수수 셈기 풀이야 냥행기 년대한테 오니가
And there are lots of people, who have very strong experiences, bad experiences in childhood, and that left a very strong and negative impression on our life. And because of that, we have to spend all our life in a very miserable and kind of a sad and negative way. There are many people of this kind.
다나시 가시에기 수수 미지 나눌래야 베지 내가 배 독자스는 라도 내가 녀버를 치지 디기 배이 농네 섬으로 뭐를 사지 농네 그 뒤에 지 가서다지 소소 야랑 맞도 그렇지 고자 맞도 这个错呢，那不是用的。
And there are also others who might have done something very bad in their life. And because of that, that kind of the guilt or that feeling of having done something very negative kind of leaves an kind of impression that you cannot stand up or you cannot recover from that at all. So this kind of people are also there.
근데 이제 좀 미다베기 냠len 시야데 가르잖아. 아주 된제지 가수래. 되게 가르된 거였으나 아주 미지 싸워지게 해요지다. 다지 왜나 싸워지 해야지. 그 뒤에 지금 마지 차가 되게 니주될 때네 가수래 다지. 팀 무투는 들어가야 말. 되게 가수래. 가수래 다지. 중저의 무투가 말. 아주 중 싸워지. 미지 싸워. 류 싸워지. 고차요지.
Because of the meditation or practice or understanding of impermanence, that we know, we come to understand that we don't have to continue these things that already happened. We can start a new life. We can have a new light in our life. We don't need to kind of be influenced and go on with the same storyline. We can start a new story. That's the understanding. And if we meditate properly the impermanence, there's, to see that every moment there's an opportunity to start again and start in a new way, in a positive way.
아나시 베는 미질이야. 까망아마도 지된 감 가서 소소네 대야 두주 플라메 비냐 치워입니다 비냐는데 여비나 그래서 까망아대야 가서 다지 된다 대바 영향 배주체네 너나 배주체비네 수수 미지지부디 된다 대바지 충분히 지고 차대야 알았어.
If there is a person who has only 5 minutes to live, only 5 minutes more to live, and if that person really have an experience of understanding of impermanence, then that person would try to live that 5 minutes in the most beneficial and meaningful way. So if that happens, then that person has lived his life in the most beneficial way, the last 5 minutes. So that's the benefit of having a clear and deep understanding of impermanence.
제가 믿어봐서디 수수 미질을 cherish. 자, 미질해야돼. 아주 진짜 가져와다 미질해야돼. moment to moment. 까마지네 미질. 까마지 되는 데면 충분히네. 대야 미질 되는 데면 충분히 직보를 차대요래. 제가 뒤주제 때네 아주 믿어보고 사디. 망부지 3년 나로 tradition 가지 믿어봐 처음이다 검수. 땅아랑 신루래 답배서를 삼성으로지. 되는지기 셈배 동해가 나대봐 직자가 나대봐 이제 삼동하지. 근데 삼동도 할때 된도 이제 말해. 다른 미지 가져다. 미지기 그 차세 충중지미네. 이 취수스마 너무 된다 대버치. 중요한 딘지기 cherish 선한자도 제제 엔딘지기 간다라 가져다. nenden로 충분히는데 처음에다 보고서 타라.
So that's why it's the importance of meditating impermanence is to know how to cherish your life. Cherish each and every moment of your life. Make each and every moment of our life a meaningful time. If we can do that, then we have lived our life in the most meaningful and beneficial way. Sometimes people think that, thinking about impermanence is like, oh, I'm going to die, it's so bad, it's so sad, and things like that. That's not the understanding of the contemplation on impermanence. Contemplation of impermanence is to make every moment of life, the life is moment by moment, and to use each and every moment of life in a beneficial way, in a meaningful way, and how to live a life in a proper way. That's the meaning of the meditation on impermanence.
다드네 달래 규제를 지시해인데 구림디 삼삼 댄데스 게임도 삼삼 거의님이다 구림 개와스 게임도 다 달래 규제사데 지 karmic connections, the cause and effect lago are and then karmic results ha ji mangbu lago da ta de kichas kem ta kana tene le gyunde sa karma sa de pa ji chi ge tsingzui de ju na la ta ma chi yong de yore.
So this, the karma,
The next
karmic connections or cause and effect of the karma. In many of the Western dictionaries also you will find the word karma.
Some karma said dishi devdu sane ji karun dishi nyong sa du ji chedu sane ai an ti ji karun karma said ji karun ta ji be karun koran ji karun kandes lauda be de ji karma sidu sane tayan be ji beyond our conception. So, but that's chidar che, but go nyoktar che, that's it. That kashoji. That in the beyond the yare. You mean we need to talk there? Karma said, "Did you go nyowazi be some donga?" But you mean do something.
Sometimes when we describe karma or when we explain karma, it can be very, very complicated and quite difficult to understand. And sometimes it is even said that the karma is
Superpower,
something like undescribable and very complicated and something like that, unable to explain. I feel that karma need not be that way. It need not be so complicated and confusing. It can be very simple.
Atangbo Germany Yundustan, Frankfurt, Marwe, Lia Lebre, Tangtoman Numjunama, the Dusane, Uneji, Saja, Wanjanjian, and Saja Numbu. And the Yahani Yundusane, Xingdong Yue Naya, Xingdong Zuji, Telashu Jimada. Numzi de Style Mare, and they lead Dusane, Wanjanti, Numzi, Shirawajo, Kashu, Shira, Zidu Deba, Tana Singi, be Kashu, healthy Shira, tonsils.
When I first landed in Frankfurt, I saw there are lots of trees, lots of green, and this green is also very kind of fresh and kind of healthy and oily kind of green. It's not like same in India. In India, there are trees, but the trees are kind of dusty and unclean and unhealthy. So, I found the place very, green and especially kind of nice.
제가 디가 감동으로 sana, 지 롱버디 미만 수역에 지 구유를 제대시기에 베제당 다나신 텔레 지 숨급시기에 봐 디케션비 뭐 하고요 봐 따딩 아주 현도가 알아서 아주 미사버지기
So therefore even when I came, and as even a new person arrives in this place,
드시 야마고 봐.
we immediately come to know. Nobody has to explain that people have cared for these, trees and this greenery and these things. So, without explaining, we can see that what kind of people live there.
제산디 레균데사디 조하지제 베랑아주 신동시도 미지기 신동시도 아니 사변지도 사변 따번는 신기 엔 콜레오 하르지 튕겐디수 쭉 개겐디수 세 체네 안 담아를 주산 신동 지도 때문에 신동으로 시통도와 제가 딜레 레균데스나
That's the karma. That if somebody, sows the seed of a tree, then he takes care of it, all the right circumstances for it to grow is brought together, all the wrong kind of circumstances or circumstances that will destroy this tree are cleared off or prevented, and then slowly the very beautiful and nice tree grows, and that is what we call karma.
제사 아주 구유를 숨겨 진짜게 제하게 꾸노 상보 개외 상바 코어텔 댄셰 간다 리졸스나 지부디 근데 통과하랬어 다디 고 가르잖아 아주 다디 아주 꾸노라 니베여봐 꾸노 슈겐 첨부여봐 대통령으로서
So that shows that that action of making this environment, a green environment and beautiful environment, has been inspired by people wanting to do that, wanting to create that kind of a situation. So therefore, that intention or the aspiration of the people becomes so important.
대인주사네 아주 자와 컨디지 주베이네야 디 군노선한라도 디 중견의 가사디 시라 베랄루여라 성도스 디 군노다 지 미유당 디들이야 시라라 잘루여라 성도 제사 수수 자와 컨디지 주베이네야 딜랑아서 겐쿠르네 겐쿠르네 아네 죽어야지 대당 아주 레균젤이야 아주 지송제스나 자도 다디 좀제도 돼 들으시죠.
So therefore, whatever we do, we need to, do it with that kind of intention, with good aspiration, understanding what kind of results we want, and that properly taking the responsibilities, and with that kind of responsibilities, inspired by the positive responsibilities, then we act, and in that way the results will come. So that is the understanding of karma. The karma and its results is because of that how we think, what kind of intentions and aspirations we have, and then taking the responsibility and then putting that into action. That is the karma.
다나 생기 레균데 사들이야 지 미게르기 달 가수지 자주에 남제에 디 미게르바시기 간들지 차와지 제르덴 가수 자주에다 제가 좀더 마세베 안 간들 아주기 디 가르던 거라서는 아주 미 펜중이 잡아 있는 된 거라 제가 미지기 자주에 되기 엔지 지조용 단 야세서 시합은 좀 용이야 지금 교당 통해봐 제가 진짜 지금 준비된네 다들 간다르지 레 준비사디 가르친 거라서나 아주기 차원 아주 근원 참모지면도 매비냐 근원디 가르쳐요 텔라데네 아주 차와 가서 굴론 텔라데네 교화 첨부 쪽이야 봐 수수 미슬이 교화 첨부 쪽이야 봐 다나시 지조용의 교화 첨부 쪽이야 봐 근데 된도 알았어.
So therefore, when we talk about an individual's kind of aspirations, individual is is also related with many other individuals, and so therefore, an individual's actions or kind of aspirations are connected with many others, and so therefore, sometimes one individual's kind of small aspiration can also change or can also affect the whole world in a very big way, because that person or that individuals is not only kind of independent thing, but it's related with everything else, interrelated with other individuals, and so therefore the aspiration and responsibilities kind of in one individual can also have a big effect to the whole community or the whole world.
디게디 야자 샤나마도 주게 조조조조 어디 게 조조조조조조 마시 오케이 다드네 뉴스ane 다디기 레귤레 사디기 아주 뭐네지 미질이야 뉴버셔무시다이 아주지 베지 상계에서 슈퍼 파워지 다드네지 슈퍼맨으로다 상계에서지 슈퍼 파워 드네지 cap용 거래 삼사로 다나지 슈퍼맨으로지 영지 디기 아주지 가서래 아주 강해 벤직다 전부를 충분히 했는데 cap용 거래 삼사로 드네지기 가서로 따지 딱 하는지 나오다디 진짜 뭐이봐 오늘 전다디 수레다 슈퍼 파워드 슈퍼맨 소소이봐 간다 레사디 지지베 슈침부르디 소소이봐 소소르니 가dan 직딩 깜게스는 자도 근접 챙게스는 자도 다디 소소 척이야 봐 소소를 진짜다 뉴바상마 인지미정 아주 뉴바베 뉴바 치슈에 가라서나 덴디즈베 다 간다를 가지고지 굴롱 뉴바 치슈 굴롱 상부 다드네 뉴스나네 디규제 되는 아주 사람에 드리지기 간다지 소술이야 진타르지 다나지 소수기 전타르베 이체를 치제 아니 소수기 가라 굴롱다 미유 리 미유 상bio 토래 당 아주 지가서래 다 굴론의 미유 상bio 토래 안 겐좀 침부지 쿨 겐 침부지 쿨 토야 돼 개심 필요해서 좀
So therefore, each individual becomes very important and have a strong kind of power, influence. Usually we feel that the Buddha is this kind of very powerful or Superman kind of a thing, superpower, that everything will be done by the Buddhas and things like that. That's not correct. Each individual, each one of us has that capacity.
That is not correct. Maybe that is okay. But maybe the Buddha is it's yourself, somebody. You are the Buddha. You are the Superman.
Yeah. It's not only the Buddha who is the Superman, but we all are Superman. That each individual, has this, even if, has this power to change our world, my own experience of the world and things like that. So therefore, it's important that each of us understand what kind of a power we have. And we need to improve or develop our aspirations, our intentions, and so when we can do that, therefore we can affect not only ourselves but everything around us also. So when we know that, it becomes a great responsibility for us to how to improve myself and how to use this kind of our intentions and our aspirations for better environment and better world. So therefore, the understanding of the karma becomes very important, or it teaches us that we have a great responsibility for us to improve our intentions and our aspirations and our way of life.
I think that's why we are not always expecting something only outside, like a Buddha. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they will blessing me so that sort of what good things will happen. Or sometime the teacher or Lama, we always request to them, please grant your blessing, And sometimes I think the Lama's battery also is finished. And this kind of power. So many people want to charge. The big battery is, the lost. And also sometimes some people just believe maybe something in the past I could I have done some good things that's well, this life, maybe expecting some good things will happen. But I think it's very important not just expecting external sort of Buddhas and the teachers. Maybe we also need to understand we have inner Buddha or inner teacher. That means we need to try. We need to create the opportunity. Or maybe we need to sort of produce the good energy. Not always waiting from outside. I think also it's very important to produce by yourself, because actually you are the Buddha, but not so effective Buddha, but like how to say it? It's Buddha, small Buddha. That's why I think maybe something like that. Our Buddha is now, it's kind of like a child. It's Buddha, but it's not growth,
No, not so mature.
Nurtured or grown enough to act, to do more. That's why we need to nurture our inner Buddha, that child Buddha, or this. I think that is very important.
Then maybe we talk about samsara, the defects of the samsara.
Defects of samsara. Oh, maybe. Samsara sadi le du sana. Any shini, paji bene le yunde, the condo she ever sum delia, paji nabasangi begi, shirama shingi, jidam miji mine, to take understand Chetuar. Samsara sada and Nirvana sada, this way and daisy. 남아상게 비지 필로소피를 디스 마시나 하고야지 디스 갈아 하고 인기를 섬점이
The other three that we already discussed, I feel that can be understood by anybody, whether they have studied Buddhism or not. But samsara, I feel, is is something a little bit more related with Buddhism. So without some background of Buddhism, maybe it's more difficult to understand.
이내 안당 아주 드림 필로소피도 시험 하고지.
But today we are not discussing philosophy.
But I'm not good at philosophy. That daily 가수래다. 간다지라다 집안에다 봐. 지당 아주 상으로 지불이야 지금 돌렌시 삼아라. 지불라 랑도르 치아들이야. 추요만 다가서 지불 랑도르 제 신경 알아서 배나 대화 된대요. 동해 된대요. 사지. 아 삼으로야 요래. 심지어 탐지하려야. 당 아주 believe 지금 아주 이지시하려야. 심지어 탐지할 지금 뭐뭐 무슨 순지에서 말하다. 상으로 내야 되니 대화도 된대요. 동해도 된대요. 지금 아주 이지시가
to understand the result, what is good and what is bad, what we want and what we don't want, that everybody understands. Not only human beings, but even the smallest of, beings, like insects, they also understand what they want and what they don't want. They want something happiness, not want painful and things like that. This is something very common, everybody understands.
이내야 가져에 지불 랑도르 만들어지 가서다 진 지불을 추바 매위네야 랑도르 추바 매위네다 규이 랑도 서머베 규 하나 되네 대화 주고요 봐. 규 하나 되는 동해 주고요 봐. 띵아주기 가서 understand 사람 differentiate number 제모도 붙여 아니 대외 규례야 동해 규를 준다르다 동해 규를 대외 규를 준다르다 근데 misunderstand 망고스타 only use that.
But we are not very clear about the causes. What causes the what desired result and what are the causes of undesired results. There we miss it, we don't understand. And so therefore sometimes what is actually the cause for a desirable result, we take it as if a cause for undesirable result, and the causes that are actually undesirable result, we think it is a cause of desirable result. So therefore we make the mistake at that, the causes.
네 인주스타는 아주 다 뒤름 유스집이 나눠려야 미망부지기 친구의 야게래야 아주 딱 간다라 도나 신부치 십지에제 간다라 친구의 야게서는 장도 뭐의 롱저르디 땅 아주 대바 심버서는 장도 디기 배 용수 조버르디 제 도래 상배 땅 아주 이지제 단동이나 배 무튀니 그제제 딱 간다라 가서 친구의 롱저라 잠바메바 배 가서 다지 컨슈머 그리고 제제 대라베 롱제제 가서 팡스메바 롱제제 those devils.
So in this century, in the 25th century also, we kind of thought that the progress and the development of the outer development is the main source of our happiness. And so we kind of invested all our energies there, and we are fully and without any hesitancy or without any reluctance, we are totally trying to use that or to totally enjoy that. That's the way our society is progressing.
다 네인도 가르쳐라다. 다 이미네. 아니 지 대연롱주 친 대연롱주를 때네. 칭업의 야게서는 대연롱주를 때세. 아주지 가르쳐다. 로스ымs다 갈아가시다래. 지점식이 망어요네. 디주지기 아주 내가 막아 큰 단동이네야. 지 가르쳐다지. 내가 체로 알아보지.
But outer kind of enjoyment of the outer luxuries alone to make us fully satisfied and fully happy is very difficult, because however much we enjoy these luxuries and the sensual pleasures, the desire for more becomes stronger and stronger. So therefore, through that way alone, it's very difficult to bring a kind of a complete satisfaction and fulfillment to ourselves.
대신도 아주지 촌내기 심한 새 관련 디기 간다라 natural resource 늘 지시해버지래. 다이네 지시해버지기 롱지지기 지시 매백이 아주 대박 칸토야 깔아하고시라고.
And the resources in this world, the resources that we are trying to enjoy, that has certain limitations. The world has certain limitations for its resources. But our desire is unlimited. Our greed is unlimited. So therefore, it is impossible that the limited resources that we have on this earth can fulfill the unlimited desire or the greed that we have.
세상 아주 대배왕도 다다는 시체. 근데 consumerism 산다도 되지. 대용량야 풍부하면도 롱제비나 남식이 있잖아. 아주랴 big disaster somewhere. 강에 쳐보십시오. 아이버디. 아주 다다네 최바체 돼야지. 다다네다 강에를 비전디 하래. 최바체 돼야지 그래서. 근데 인두산에 땅 아주 삼은 내대지 동거야지 쳐야 돼.
Therefore, if we can even now see that, we can understand, we can estimate that if we keep on doing this, unlimitedly exploring the limited, resources to fulfill our unlimited desires and wishes, then there will be a great disaster in future. We can see the signs of this, and we can forecast this very clearly. So therefore, it is the time now for us to think again and think deeply on these issues.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
혼자 숨기야 어미뮤리 지리 모름 수이 나와르체 금숨매오 동해 예스리 수이 시월제 제체 개야 구도체 나무 부다이